Hello, I'm Kelly Scotto, and I teach yoga at Gold's in Middletown. And I wanted to begin with an all levels yoga class. First off, you might want props. You don't need to use blocks, but if you think that you want to bring the floor up to you and you don't have an actual yoga block, couple of things that you might have on hand. Perhaps a roll of toilet paper or two, one for under each hand in case you have one or two extra. I like the Scotto brand because of being Kelly Scotto, so they have a little give if you roll them on the sides. So using them on the top, that works a little better. Sometimes a tissue box, particularly a full box, works well. If you don't have a big fat book, I didn't actually have any fat enough to use, or some kind of a flat container. This happens to be my husband's sock container. That would work as well if you want to use a block. So, and you could also fold up a blanket or use a pillow as well. So we'll start off by grounding down and kind of bringing yourself into the room and onto your mat. So just envision the quiet yoga room and envision, close your eyes or let them go soft and sit some way comfortable, and just envision yourself walking into the yoga room and sitting down on your mat. Really feel the connection with the mat underneath you. Feel the connection. Imagine the mat being on the floor, yes, but also all the way down onto the earth, and you could grow roots down into the earth. And the hands can relax softly on the legs. See if you can straighten out the spine, lift the crown of the head high, and relax the shoulders and arms. So connected to the earth, and yet feeling the air around you. So just bring your attention into the room in which you're sitting and feel the air of the room on your face, on any exposed skin. And then really feel the mat underneath you coming into the body. So where your body is touching the mat, just notice that connection. Begin to travel up the body, noticing any sensations you might be having today. And don't label those sensations as good or bad. They're just there, and you need to be aware of them for a physical practice. Come into the physical body by bringing the attention mindfully to everything that's going on in it. And then come into the breath. Trace with your mind's eye the breath as it comes in through the nostrils, travels down to the lungs, and just imagine it going out to all the other parts of the body. And then trace it as you exhale. See if you can slow down the breath, making the inhale slower but deeper. And the exhale, again, slower and more emptying. Breathe at your own rate. Slowly inhaling, filling. Slowly exhaling, emptying. And on your next couple of inhales and exhales, just notice the parts of the body that move as you inhale. So there's more than just the chest, the belly, the neck, the shoulders, maybe the back body. Everything moves slightly, ever so slightly. And as you exhale, see if this time you can end by pulling the belly button up towards the spine, up towards the heart, emptying completely. fully coming onto the mat, coming into the body, and then just onto the breath. For the next couple of breaths, just bring your attention to the very tip of your nose. Keep the breath long and slow. And just notice how as the breath moves past the tip of the nose, when you inhale, it's nice and cool. And as you exhale, it's warm. And allow the breath now to return to a natural, normal breath. Let the eyes blink open and begin to move. If you're sitting on a prop, get the props out of the way and begin to move into child's pose. So in child's pose, you bring your big toes to touch, bring the knees as wide as the mat, and you can sit yourself all the way down, reaching the arms forward, or if you like, you can use a prop, sitting up on your prop or placing it underneath the forehead. And just come into this pose. If you stretch the arms out in front of you, you'll get a little bit of a warm-up of the shoulders as well as warming those hips and knees. So just drop into that child's pose for a couple of breaths. See if you can slow the breath down. I'm going to lift up through some of these poses just so that I'm able to talk to you. So you're just settling down onto the mat, feeling an opening perhaps in the hips, shoulders, back, chest. And take one more really deep inhale. Open the mouth, let the air spill out. And then walk your way back up. Make your way into a tabletop. So the knees need to come in so that your knees are underneath your hips, and then bring the hands underneath the shoulders. So you're forming lots of right angles here. Spread your fingers, press the fingerprints down into the mat. Allow the belly to drop down, the sit bones rise, gaze goes forward, heart pulls between the chest, cow pose. Staying here for a couple of breaths, and then pressing up with the spine towards the ceiling. Press into the hands, let the head drop towards the thighs, looking gaze towards the thighs. Sit bones pressing down towards the knees. Staying here for a couple of breaths. And then moving through cat and cow with the breath. So inhaling into cow, and then exhaling, stretching up into cat, pressing the spine up. The gaze goes out as you inhale and in as you exhale. Best warm up for the spine for a yoga class are these cat-cows. And then if you like, you can add some other spinal movements, some other movements of the pelvic bowl. You can begin to do some pelvic circles. And then circling the other way. And then maybe coming to a neutral spine, pull your right shoulder and hip together, look over the right shoulder, and then pull the left shoulder and hip together. Just a couple of those back and forth, moving the spine in all different ways. And then coming to neutral. See if you can cross the legs and come to sit. You can just roll to one side and bring the legs out in front of you in any way. pull the toes back towards you, flexing the feet. See if you can energetically pull the outside edges of the feet towards you, and just a gentle walk forward. So you're not getting aggressive here. This is a warm-up stretch. You may be really feeling tight from doing a lot of sitting, or maybe not moving as much as you normally do. The heart is pulling towards the toes. Perhaps this might be actually more of a low back stretch than a hamstring stretch. You can always modify by bending your knees. Feel free to modify any of these poses in a way that works for you. And then walking your way back up. You're going to bend your right knee and then place the right foot on the outside edge of the left knee. Let your spine get nice and tall and hold your knee. We're kind of pulling it up towards 12 o'clock. And as you press down with the sit bones to make your spine tall, start to turn towards the right. I'm going to bring my left knee into my right knee into my left hand and bring my right hand down to twist. As you're here, really important, you want a nice straight spine. So press down with the seat to lift up with the heart, and then twist a little more. Maybe you want to help begin to twist with the neck as well. You can look out over the right shoulder or not. Keep that left foot nice and flexed. Take an inhale here, lifting the heart. Exhale, twist a little bit more. One more inhale here. Exhale, release, and switch. So the right leg goes long, the left knee bends, bring the left foot to the outside of that right knee. Bring the right hand to the left knee, left hand goes behind you. Get really tall with the spine. It's like you want to lift up with the heart, like somebody had a string attached to your heart, and they're lifting it up. So the shoulders are relaxing back and down. Inhale up, exhale, twist. And so each inhale is lifting the heart, and each exhale, twist that left shoulder a little bit more to the left. You can look out over your right shoulder if you like. Right foot is super flexed. Gentle pressure on the knee, pulling it towards you, pulling it up. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, twist. And then release. Allow that foot to come back down, and then come on back over onto hands and knees. Tabletop position. So if your wrists are directly under your shoulders, knees are under the hips, we're going to come up into downward facing dog. Walk your hands one handprint in front of where they are. Curl your toes under. Lift the hips up, straightening the legs somewhat. And then pedal it out. So bending one knee, and then bending the other. Doing that a couple of times. While you're doing it, fingers are spread and you're pushing the mat towards the front of your room, like you're pushing the front of the mat away from you. And then come to stillness. The heels are trying to press down. Again, the knees, they shouldn't be totally locked out. You want a micro bend at least. You might like a bigger bend in your knees. Bring your attention to your sits bones and think about lifting them up and pressing them back. Again, notice the fingers. So we're going to come forward enough that you can look forward at your hands. Spread your fingers out. Press into each of the finger pads, and then press the front of the mat away from you and let your head drop. Feel free at any time to drop the knees and do the same thing that we're doing with the knees down on the floor. Take another inhale here. Exhale. And then inhale your way way out, come out to plank pose. Again, the knees can drop. Press your hands down into the mat like you want to smash the mat down into the floor. Your heels are pressing towards the back of the room, towards the back of the mat. Try to bring yourself flat as you can, like you're a board, like you're a plank. Take another couple breaths here. Pull your abdominals in, tighten up that core. And then drop the knees down to the mat. You can let them go a little bit wide if you like. Let the seat relax back towards the heels. Arms are stretching forward. Forehead can drop. Keep your hands reaching forward because we want to keep the shoulders warming up. Take a nice deep inhale here. Exhale. Inhale your way back up to tabletop position. Curl those toes under, back up, downward facing dog. And then slowly walk your feet up towards your hands. And here's where you might want to have your blocks towards the front of your mat. Just in case you need them. So we're going to stand here in a forward fold at the front of the mat. Little micro bend in the knees. Hands can just relax down, dangle, or if you like, you can put your hands on a block. If your hamstrings are particularly tight, you might want a pretty good bend in the knees, or you might even be bracing your hands on your thighs, on your shins. So find the forward fold that works for you. See if you can bring your weight a little bit forward of the back of the heel. So I'm not lifting my heels up off of the mat, but I don't want to dump all the way back in my heels because then my sit bones are way out there in nowhere land. I want my sit bones pretty much over my heels. And then the head drops. Take a nice deep inhale here. Exhale. And then put a good bend in the knees and roll your way up to stand. Coming up all the way to stand here at the front of your mat. We're in mountain pose. I'm going to turn just to face you so you can see. Mountain pose is my feet are hip distance apart, kind of standing equally on them, allowing my shoulders to be relaxed down and back. My hands are heavy, arms are straight. Nice deep inhale here. Exhale. So we're going to warm up the body with sun salutations. And so we're going to get the blood moving and move through some poses. I'm at a little bit of a disadvantage just because of space. I'd like to be facing you, but I feel like I won't be able to demonstrate because I don't have the room to step back. So I'm going to go sideways so you can see what I'm doing. So I'm going to keep my head turned facing you. Mostly your gaze is going to be forward. So standing at the front of your mat in your Tadasana, bring the hands to heart center. Lift the hands high, gaze goes up to the thumbs. Press down with the feet to lift a little higher. Inhale. Exhale. Hands come through heart center all the way down. Bow it down into a forward fold. Inhale. Bring your hands to your shins. Lift your heart. Look forward. Exhale. Release down. Hands come down. Maybe your hands come to your blocks so you can step your back foot, your right foot, all the way to the back. Drop the knee down. Bring the top of the foot to the mat. Climb your hands up onto your left knee. You can leave them down here on the blocks, or you can climb them up. And then lift the heart up as you press down with the sit bones. So to find a little more sensation here, you're pressing your sit bones down and pressing into the top of the back foot. Stay here or hook your thumbs, lift your hands high. Biceps frame your ears. Take an inhale here. Exhale. One more inhale. Exhale. Hands come down. I'm going to move my blocks out of the way. Curl the back toes under. Lift the back knee. Step it into downward facing dog. Inhale your way out to plank pose. Take a breath or two here. Press the heels towards the back of the mat. Press down into the hands. And then you're going to drop the knees down, lower the chest down. Tops of the feet come to the mat. Try to press all 10 toes down into the mat. Lift your hands just an inch off of the mat. Inhale, lift the heart, lift the chest, gazes forward. Keep breathing here, baby cobra. And then lower the hands back down, curl the toes under. Bring yourself to a child's pose with the toes curled under. Arms are really reaching forward. And then straighten the legs, come up into downward facing dog. And then inhale, the right leg goes up in the air. Look between your hands, step the foot forward. Now maybe it comes all the way up in between the hands, or maybe it only comes part way, and you reach back with that right hand and bounce it forward. Again, hands can be on the blocks if you like, or hands are on the floor. The blocks just bring the floor up to your hands. Pull back with this outer right hip as you press through the left heel. Pull the heart forward, look forward. And then step the back foot forward, forward fold. Head drops, arms can dangle or brace against your legs. Put a little bend in the knees. Roll it up to stand. As you come up, you can sweep your arms out and up. Palms come together. Look up at the thumbs. Reach high with the fingers as you inhale. Exhale, come right back down. Coming into the left side. Fingertips brace against the shins. Inhale, look forward. Exhale, release down. Step the left leg back. Drop the back knee. Top of the back foot comes to the mat. Again, hands can be on blocks. Hands can be on the floor. Climb them up to the knee if you're going. And isolate that the pelvic bowl. You want to try to neutralize that pelvic bowl by pressing the sit bones down. You can't totally neutralize the pelvic bowl because you've got one leg forward. But here you're working on dropping those sit bones down, pulling that left hip forward. And then hands can stay on the leg or hook the thumbs, lift the hands high. Biceps frame the ears. As you inhale, you press down with the sit bones and up with the fingertips. Exhale, keep that lift. One more inhale. Exhale, hands drop. Curl the back toes under. Step it into downward facing dog. Inhale forward into plank. Stay here for a couple of breaths. See if you can bring your gaze on the floor in front of your mat. That lengthens out the back of the neck. And then drop the knees down, drop the chest down. Tops of the feet come to the floor. Hands lift. Work those abdominals. Lifting up, breathing. Don't hold your breath here as much as you might feel like you want to. Press your sit bones towards your heels. And then release the hands down, curl the toes under. One more of those child's pose with the toes curled under. Really great stretch of the shoulders. And then straightening the legs, downward facing dog. Left leg lifted high. Look between your hands. That foot needs to come all the way up. Get it there however you need to. Perhaps you need to drop the right knee just to get that left foot forward. That's okay. Once you arrive, lift that right knee back up off of the mat. Press back through the right heel. Pull your heart forward as you inhale. Come all the way up onto your fingertips like spider fingers. That gives you more space. Another option is to be on your blocks. And then stepping the back foot forward to join the left leg. Let the head drop. Bend in the knees, rolls you up. Here we go. We're going to move a little bit more quickly, get the blood moving. Sweep the arms out and up. Inhale. Exhale, forward fold all the way down. Inhale, extend. Exhale, the right leg goes back. Knee drops. This time going right up for the top. Lifting the hands high. Inhale. Exhale, hands drop down, step it into downward facing dog. Just do your best to follow along. Inhale, out to plank. Exhale, knees drop down, dropping the chest down. Inhale, tops of the feet come to the floor. If you want to press into the hands for full cobra, that's fine here. Or keep coming into baby with the hands floating. Elbows stay really close to the body, lower the shoulders down. Lift the heart and press the sit bones towards the heels. Take one more inhale here. Exhale, lower it down. Curl those toes under. This time going right up to downward facing dog. You can go through hands and knees. Then the right leg lifts. Inhale. Exhale, step it forward. Back knee stays up. So get yourself with that foot forward as best as possible. Inhale, pull your heart forward, look forward. Exhale, forward fold. Roll your way up to stand. Sweep the arms out and up. Inhale. Exhale, right back down again. Inhale, extend. Exhale, the left foot goes back. Knee drops, top of the foot to the floor. Hook the thumbs, lift the hands high. Inhale. Exhale, hands drop down. Curl the back toes under. Downward facing dog. Inhale your way out to plank pose. Exhale, knees drop down, chest drops down. Come on to the belly. Hands are right under your shoulders. Inhale your way up for cobra. Stay for a breath or two. Curl those toes under, going right up to downward facing dog. Inhale, left leg goes up in the air. Exhale, step it forward. Inhale, pull the heart and the gaze forward. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, roll it on up, arms sweep up. And this time, just bring the hands to heart center and down to mountain pose. So coming into your mountain pose, close your eyes or let them go soft and take a few breaths here. Notice how the body feels now in comparison to your first body scan. Maybe the breath is moving a little bit faster. You're feeling perhaps a little warm. Let the breath slow just a bit. And then the eyes flutter open. And we're ready to come into a couple of standing poses. So you standing, come to face the side of your mat. And you're gonna step your feet wide. Make sure that your feet are parallel. So you don't want the toes pointing out. You want the toes pointing straight forward. If you have any low back issues when you come into a forward fold, make your toes come a little bit more towards pigeon-toed. And you're going to want some kind of support. I'm going to put one each at the front and the back of the mat. If you only have one, you can always switch it when you get there, or just, go without it. That's okay too. So coming into a wide forward fold, let's stretch out the shoulders a little bit first. So interlace your hands behind you. See if you can get your palms together. Perhaps if your shoulders are super tight, that doesn't work, and you just bring your hands to your low back. And then you're going to press the knuckles down and lift the heart up, widening out through the shoulder heads. The gaze goes up. Inhale. Exhale here. One more inhale, lifting the heart. Tighten up the quadriceps. Tighten up all of the legs. And then come forward into a wide forward fold. Hands come away from the back body. And then release them down. So here, perhaps you want to grab one of your blocks to support yourself, or put a bit of a bend in your knees. Otherwise, keeping yourself, try to keep yourself from putting all of the weight in the heels. Pull the weight slightly forward, like you're coming to the front of your heel. And then let the head drop down. And then lift yourself somewhat to neutral. You're going to turn your right toes, I'm going to mirror you, turn your right toes towards the front of the mat. Make sure that you're lined up with your front heel and your back arch. Keep your left toes pulling forward, and then bending your right knee, walk your way around towards that right foot. You may find that you have to change your stance a little. I'm moving my feet a little bit further apart. Hands could be on blocks. But at this point, you're going to come up, reach forward with that left hand, reverse cartwheel up. We're coming into Warrior Two. So in your Warrior Two, the front knee is bent, the back leg is straight. Press into the outside edge of that back foot. And you want to try to keep the hips and the shoulders in line. So you don't want to reach forward out over that right thigh. Coming into Warrior Two. Keep pressing the right knee out towards the pinky toe side of your foot. You should be able to look down and see your big toe. Hands reach out, look out over the front fingertips. Take a nice deep inhale here. Exhale, maybe that knee bends a little deeper. Inhale, pull the shoulder blades towards each other and press the hips forward. Exhale. And then flip the front palm. This left hand is going to drop down by the back thigh. Don't unbend that front knee, coming into Peaceful Warrior. And then back to Warrior Two. Straighten your front leg. I'm going to pop my front foot back just a little bit because we're going to come into triangle pose, Utthita Trikonasana, just so that I know that I need a little less of a wide stance. I'm going to reach forward with my right hand and then drop it down to a block, opening out my left hand. I want to try to stack my left shoulder on top of my right. So everything should be in a nice straight line from this left wrist to the left shoulder, right wrist. So perhaps your block is higher, or maybe even a block isn't tall enough, so you need to bring your hand up on top of the top of your shin. You want to open your heart to the side, pull those shoulder blades towards each other and press the hips forward. Gaze can go up towards the left thumb, or you can keep your gaze forward if that's better for your neck. Take one more inhale here. Exhale. Bend that right knee. Bring both hands down. Pull the right toes towards the middle. Come back into your wide forward fold. And this time we'll come into a twist. So walk your left hand towards your right foot. So you can, perhaps it's here, perhaps it goes all the way over to the foot, and that right arm goes in the air. Gaze goes towards the right or up towards that right hand. Take an inhale here. Exhale, release everything down, walk it to the other side. Right hand is on left foot or just moving towards the left. Perhaps it's even up on a block. Take an inhale here. Exhale, come on down. And then we're going to come into warrior two to the left. So the left toes point towards that short edge of your mat. Bend the left knee. Walk your way around. Make sure that your left heel is lined up with your right arch. And then you're going to reach this right hand forward. I have the wall in my way, so I'm going to just come up quickly and sink it down into warrior two. Left knee is bent, right leg is straight. Gaze goes out over those left fingertips. And while you're looking in that direction, just take a glance down. Make sure you can see your left big toe. And if you find that your knee is blocking it, press that knee out towards the pinky toe side. Press your hips forward as you pull your shoulder blades towards each other. Shoulders are in line with the hips. Take an inhale here. Exhale, maybe sink a little deeper into that knee bend. And then flip the left palm. The right hand drops down. Come on up, peaceful warrior. Left elbow is straight. And now you can look up at that left hand, or if it's better for your neck, you can look down at your right foot. And then back to warrior two. Straighten that left leg. I'm going to pop mine back just a little bit. Reach forward with the left hand. Drop it down. Grab your block. Open it up. Line wrists and shoulders all up in one straight line as best you can. So you want to be aware of not dropping the right shoulder and arm forward. Don't cave forward. I find this side I'm not quite as open, so I'm going to pop my block one side higher so that I can keep my shoulders really wide open. We look symmetrical, but our bodies don't always work symmetrically. And then I'm going to look up at my right hand. Take a nice deep inhale here. Exhale. One more inhale. Exhale. Look down at that left foot. Bring yourself down. Walk it back into the wide forward fold, pulling the left toes to point towards the long edge of the mat. One more moment or two of relaxing down. Maybe your hands can grab towards your legs and slide down. The head just drops. Take a nice deep inhale through the nose. Open the mouth, let the air sigh out. And then bring your hands down, walk your way over towards your right knee, right foot. Drop the left knee down. Come into a child's pose, reaching the arms forward. And then while you're here, if you'd like to relax those shoulders down, you can bring the arms down. And then roll your way up. Come to lay down on your mat. On your back. Hug your knees into your chest. A little rock side to side. And then let the feet touch down. Lift the hips up just a little bit. Move them towards the right. Let your knees drop towards the left. So I'm working on stacking my top leg on top of my bottom. If that's impossible, you can stick a block in between the knees or underneath the knees. But try to have at least a right angle between the thighs and the torso. This outside arm, which is my right arm, is coming straight out from the shoulders. I don't have space to bring my arm straight, so I'm bending at the elbow, and that's okay too. As you inhale, bring lots of air into the torso, even in this restrictive twist. And as you exhale, maybe that right shoulder can relax down a little bit. You can use the left hand to hold the legs down or bring the arms out to a T. Here's where you want to begin to relax the face, relax the jaw, drop out any tension that you're feeling in the body. Return to your noticing of the breath. And then we'll bring the knees back towards center. Press the feet down, lift the hips up, bring it through center and a little bit to the left so that when you drop your knees down, you're perhaps lining up the torso a little bit better. Stacking one leg on top of each other, propping as necessary. Maybe this side needs more prop or no prop. My left arm is going straight out from my shoulder, again, or you can goalpost. As you inhale, trying to fill the torso despite the restriction in the twist. And as you exhale, the left shoulder relaxes down. Release the tension that's in the body down into the mat, down into the earth. And then coming back to center, bringing the hips back to neutral. You can leave the knees bent or stretch one leg out and then the other, bringing the arms down by the sides but a little away from the body for Shavasana, final relaxation, allowing the body just to surrender down to the mat, down to the earth. Eyes can go soft or closed. And if the mind begins to wander, bring it again to the physical body. Make that mind-body connection. Bring it to the monitoring of the breath, anywhere but outside your mat. And if you would like, you can just remain here in Shavasana for as long as works for you. Otherwise, hugging the knees in and then making your way up, spilling off to one side or rocking right up to sit. Hands can come to heart center. The light in me shines out to the light in each and every one of you. Namaste.